Hello and welcome. Welcome to the preview of Spiritual Alchemy Emergence. It's in every year I mention that I look forward to the 12 days of the new Spiritual Alchemy because as we start playing with different tools, ideas, concepts, and especially for me as I start playing with different stars, different information come in, and the spiritual alchemy processes shows up the stars, the connections, some of the techniques and information or the waves of energy that we play with. They show up mainly for the coming years, not just the following year, but the coming waves of information that's coming to Earth and humanity. And how do we shift our reality? How do we integrate more? How do we open up more of our consciousness? How do we align more with our higher vision and purpose? How do we fit more into this grand cosmic story or the journey that we are experiencing and all the explorations that we are doing? So for all of those, new waves of information come in, and that comes in the form of spiritual alchemy. So we can go through it for the 12 days, and then we really shift our inner world, and then as a result, the outer world changes. So first thing is, when we look at the benefits, especially when we play with star energies, understand not that many people on the planet are doing that. So when you tune into the source of these different cosmic powers, you directly work with the source without having to go through all these civilizations and the concepts of advanced beings and different groups. And I'm not into those groups. I like to get information and connections from the source of that information. So when you tune into a particular star energy, star teaching, star guidance, understand you are going above and beyond these three-dimensional methods of connections and learning and receiving. They are still a part of us, but we are going above and beyond them. We are connecting with star energies. Now, for example, think about the Andromeda galaxy. It's 2.5 million light years away from us. That means when we use light speed, if you have a spaceship that can go at the speed of light, it will take 2.5 million years. So when you look at the night sky and when you look at the stars, understand this. This is very powerful. What you're seeing is the past. When you see Andromeda now, you are seeing the light that came from Andromeda 2.5 million years ago. It's coming into our environment and coming through us now. But that light left Andromeda 2.5 million years ago. So when we look at the night sky, that's why scientists have bigger telescope. They can look deeper and further so they can look more into our past. But we're not just looking into our past. In the spiritual alchemy, we are connecting with the consciousness of the stars now. So you're not going back 2.5 million years to connect with Andromeda. You can, but when we are connecting now in our consciousness, in our journey, we are going into Andromeda today. So the information that was coming to us 2.5 million years ago versus today is different. The constellations are different. The positions are different. What they have learned, what their consciousness have learned is different. So we are receiving a lot of that energy. And what do we do with them? We bring in those energies with us for our life, for our alignment, for our journey, for our path, and for the planet and humanity and all life on Earth. So for that reason, for one of these reasons, that's just one of the reasons. For some of these reasons, as we play with these 12 days of spiritual alchemy, it becomes exponentially powerful for us. And I always use the word play because it's not work for us, it's exploration. When you look at history and when you look at some of the greatest innovations and innovations of tools, technology, methods, processes, or ideas that came through books or science fiction stories or children's story, that things that touch the whole world. A lot of that came to us in, sometimes they say accidentally, but it's not accident. They were just exploring without agenda, and suddenly they opened up to a different level of consciousness so that information can come in. Sometimes we get so much into what we need to do and how we need to heal and what is supposed to be showing up and what we need to manifest, and the money, the relationship, the collaboration, what's happening on the planet. We get caught up in so much of that that sometimes exploration becomes a project. Then it's not an exploration. It's just a bunch of tasks we are doing. So in spiritual alchemy, I always ask everyone to detach from those. You have your ideas, goals, and visions. You set up your container. We do that together. That's great. Then you explore. Then you open up your mind. You open up your heart. You open up to possibilities of what some of these stars are sending you and what they can do for you. You open up to guidance from Andromeda Galaxy, which has over 1 trillion stars. Milky Way has more than 200 billion stars. We will play with the Pleiadian open cluster. People from the ancient times know about it and they've been connecting with it. But we're not talking about connecting with any groups or their agendas. We're talking about purely connecting with the star vibrations. So we will look at receiving some of the transmissions for the new world. And I talk about the new world because the word emergence for this particular spiritual alchemy showed up many months ago, 6 months before I thought about launching the program. So from the star energies, that word formed, that let's call it emergence, because we are focusing on that emerging world, the new world. And understand in January, if you're looking at this live, in January, we are starting 2 new cycles. One is a new decade, that cycle, that energy, and one is a new feng shui cycle. It starts with cycle 1 again, and then we also have Earth's primary element changing. So we have a number of different new cycles starting, and emerging reality is a really powerful term here because for quite some time now, and especially in the last 6 months or so, or more like in the last 1 year, I've been asked many times that start thinking differently. And when I connect with some of the star energies and look at guidance for the next steps for humanity, for the planet, a lot of my time goes into focusing on building structures, foundations for the new waves of consciousness. And then I keep hearing that letting go of the past, of the way we did things, how we think, how we act, react, a lot of that needs to be changed. So, that's why when we really tune into the star energies and what they can teach us now and for the new world, it's powerful because then we can bring in those energies and play with creating this new world. So some of the things that we will do in this spiritual alchemy emergence is one, focus on running some timeline detox of your past. And our soul's journey from as we journey through many different systems, many different civilizations, and constellations, and many different parts of the universe. We've been traveling for quite some time, and Andromeda is a very powerful neighboring system that holds a lot of information for us, and a lot of beings came here with a particular guidance and vision and mission from that system. And then things got diluted and things got mixed up, and we started going into all kinds of difficult situations and war and stuff. And some of that is a part of our learning curve. We all understand that. But our mission at some point got diluted for many of us. So we will look at running some deep timeline detox and healing with Andromeda. Andromeda's light is a little different than Milky Way galaxy and some of the other stars. It's a little thicker. It goes deep inside you, and it's almost like it binds with information in your system, and it can pull it out. And we are talking about not just let's say, not necessarily physical detox, which is a part of it, but more like things energetically or holographically or in the consciousness, ideas, concept, things that got stuck in you in your journey that has become a part of you that doesn't need to be a part of you anymore, that could be dissolved with Andromeda's light. Think about Mercury. It's a good example. Mercury, when you have, they kind of stick together. So when you have those molecules, when you push them together, they just come together and stick together. So Andromeda can kind of do that. It can sort of go through your system and just pull stuff out, and then your system becomes more aligned. So Andromeda's energy is very powerful for that, and Andromeda's energy is very powerful for healing our timeline and our soul journey, so that this mega galaxy can help us empower our journey. It is also known as the twin galaxy of Milky Way, and scientifically we know, even though from our concept, it's like so far away that we cannot even conceive the timeline. But in a couple of billion years, Andromeda and Milky Way will become one. They will merge, or they will start merging. So, but from a soul level, understand our consciousness will exist at that time too, even though physically we don't exist here. But then we will reunite with many different parts of us. So as we play with these energies, we start the process now. We bring in Andromeda's information and realignment energies and the renewal energy of our mission and our vision. And we begin to tune into those energies for our path, for our journey, for our creativity. So it's really powerful. When we look at history, we know about so many different people who have done huge things. Think about Nikola Tesla. Think about Gene Roddenberry. And there are so many others. They were known to connect with different levels of consciousness through some experimental projects for a couple of years, I believe. And Gene Roddenberry, from those explorations, launched Star Trek and the Andromeda series, and there are a bunch of others that he did. So when people, when we connect with some of these star consciousness, we can open up to new possibilities. Many authors and writers, they connect with different systems or some planets like Mercury to tune into stories of our past. And then they write stories, and then people go crazy about those stories or movies because they are a part of our history. So we are relearning some of that. But that happens when all these connections exist. So for that reason, spiritual alchemy is very powerful because you are opening up to options and possibilities and to a type of journey of your consciousness that you haven't done before. And each time we do it, we go deeper. Now, any of the classes or programs that I do, I build live interactive matrix and modules so that your connection is always in real time. So even when you watch the program or listen to the tracks years from now, you will still connect in real time with all the processes. So that's why it makes it very powerful. But the benefit of going through live program is during the 12 days, for the group, I do a lot of extra background activities. So a lot of the generational healing, a lot of bringing in information for your soul journey, for your path, for your ancestry, for future generations, for your locations, for the planet, for our collective consciousness, for healing timeline, and anything else that shows up during the process. So I run a lot of that. So that's the extra benefit of running through the program live. But in outside of that, once you go through the program, just don't stop there. Continue to explore and run through it multiple times. Yeah. Now, another very powerful thing we will do in this program is upgrade the pineal gland circuits that we have from the pineal circuits of the Magellanic Cloud consciousness. The Magellanic Cloud acts as the pineal gland for the Milky Way galaxy. So these new circuits, and when I say circuits, because when I look at them, it's kind of like they look like digital chips or electronic circuits to me. It's almost like you have your pineal gland, and I'm looking at the enlarged version of it, and all this new digital circuitry going in, replacing the old ones. Like think about your flip phone, right? From 10, 15 years ago. And you're replacing the flip phone technology and the functionality with some of the current high-tech phones that we have. That is, they're more advanced than even some of the computers 5, 7 years ago. So we are bringing in these new level of enhancement from the Magellanic circuits, Magellanic pineal gland energy into our pineal gland energy. And then from there, it will, over a period of time, help you shift your neural network. I don't want to use the word shift, but help you enhance your neural network in your brain. So I'm also playing with these energies, the new circuit energies. I don't have the full version yet. It will show up just before we do the integration. But the first version that I received, what I did was, after I received the upgrades, I looked at my chair in my office, and literally in front of me, almost like a sci-fi movie, I saw a vision of people working on it, marketing, packing, shipping, all the people who were part of bringing that chair. I saw that. It's almost like I saw a history of that chair. And then when I look at the stars, and sometimes I think about touching it, like, you're selecting it, and like you're clicking it. The touch, the connections, the energies are different. They're more enhanced. Like if I look up at the night sky and I energetically touch something, or in my mind touch something, I see the waves coming out of the stars. It's almost like I'm touching the actual star with my finger. Um, and I don't get star burn either. So interesting things are happening with the circuit. So we will play with the circuit, and once you have the circuit, that's where the starlight immersion technique comes in. You can focus on the new circuits of your pineal gland and think about activating it. Allow that energy to expand, fill up your whole brain and body. Think about the Magellanic Cloud is in your brain. Your big brain is the cloud. So you start making that kind of connection, and then hold a focus, hold a vision. Do it from curiosity, and you can notice things starting to shift, so that the alignment shows up for you to manifest. There are a few times when I was playing with the Magellanic Cloud, and I activated the circuit just by thinking about it, and then I was picturing my head, in my brain, I had the Magellanic Cloud, and suddenly I had a thought that, oh, it'd be nice to have this done. And that was just a thought, nothing else. And it happened multiple times. And suddenly I see those options showing up. So and I start to notice that when we really tune into the cloud energy, we can just make a wish with curiosity, not from need, that, oh, I must have that, then there's too much restriction. Just from exploration and curiosity, we can just have a thought, a wish, and then it ripples out from your brain through the cloud energy, because the cloud and you, the both energies are connected with the new circuits. So from the Magellanic Cloud, you can send out a wave of wish, intention, vision. And that becomes very, very powerful when you focus on helping the planet, helping humanity, bringing in new methods, tools, and technologies for people who are doing a lot of things. So you can think about, wouldn't it be nice for somebody to come up with new ways of cleaning up the oceans, and send that wave out. Somebody on the planet who is working on some kind of a breakthrough will receive what you send. And because of your help, that person can come up with technology that will change us. We don't have to do everything. We become the conduit to bring in information and help people. Okay, so the new circuits, and with the new circuit, the starlight immersion technique, they become very powerful because then in these are some of the ways we can play, and as we play in these ways, we can focus on this new reality where we are focusing more on collaboration. Some groups want to go into the opposite direction because there's a lot of that split happening. And until we start to come back into alignment, we will notice that split. So our focus is, as we're coming together, let's bring in star energies to help humanity, help all the different groups, different governments, different faiths, and help the planet, help restore environment, help restore the oceans, the rainforest, and more. The technology is here. Don't think we don't have the technology. The technology is here. A lot of times it's hidden or suppressed or locked up somewhere because it will not be beneficial. Some of these new technologies will put some of the old industries out of business because they don't want to change things. So technology is here. Let's bring in more awareness. Technology to replace plastic with sugarcane type bottle that look like a plastic bottle, act like plastic bottle, but they biodegrade in 80 days when you throw it outside. The technology is here. but the plant cannot produce them because recycle industries told them no. So now, we can bring in some of these energies so that collectively we can raise the consciousness and ways can show up so that we can shift our reality. So that's why emergence kept showing up, because we are focusing on designing the new world for all of us, individually and collectively. And we are focusing on moving into this new world, and we're focusing on creating it in a way so that it supports the next level of consciousness. Now, if you want to, let's say, integrate some of the operating systems for phones and computers that we have today, you cannot use 20-year-old phone or computer because the technology is not compatible. So similarly, for the new emerging world, the new circuitry is needed. Now, as we develop and as we bring in information, more will receive it. Because as we start to build it in the collective consciousness, more and more people will start to connect. So, for some of these reasons, it becomes really powerful, and the playing with the spiritual alchemy and some of the tools, processes become really powerful on one hand, and then experiential on the other hand, and then we keep exploring and opening up to possibilities. Okay. The other thing we will do also is playing with starlight infusion into your DNA, which is bringing in a particular star matrix and running it through your DNA strands so that your DNA strands can start absorbing them. And sometimes I have talked about star chakras. They are in our field. They are connections to different star systems. And scientists also know that and talk about that our atoms came from different supernovas. When stars go supernova, the consciousness go into a different plane, but the physical explosion gives birth to new system and new options. And for us to receive heavier elements like iron and copper, heavier stars need to go supernova. So understand, if you look in your home, the materials that you have, for that, many stars went supernova. So we have supernova energy, star energies all around us and in us, because that's that's some of the raw material that's in this universe. Yeah. So we'll play with some of these energies. Now, in the 12 days, there are different systems or star systems that we play with. We will certainly play with the Phoenix constellation, especially the star Anka, because Phoenix has the energy of rebuilding. It's a rebirthing energy. The story of Phoenix is when it gets to a certain point of life, it catches fire. Fire is a transformer. It turns into ashes, and from the ashes, new consciousness emerges. Okay, so we will look at the last decade, and we will look at transforming the last decade, the issues, challenges, things that we have noticed, and we will look at turning that, using Phoenix analogy, into ashes so that we have the raw material, and then we will, from the ashes, create the new world, like Phoenix rising. Okay, so we'll play with Phoenix energies, we'll play with the Andromeda galaxy and our timeline. We'll play with the Pleiadian open cluster and some of the star energies, and also as a whole, and then also individually. So let me actually share a little bit of the screen and that may help you to see some of the things visually. So this is the Emergence page. Um, you know, this is important when we play with ego and alignment with your soul vibration. As we play more with the star energies, the ego part and the high consciousness part align. You know, a lot of times people think about, oh, I want to get rid of my ego. There's nothing to get rid of. You know, it's the three-dimensional part that help us do all kinds of things. We just need to bring a stronger alignment so that the energy can show up more easily. So some of the stars and constellations, now one is as I mentioned, Phoenix. We will play with Phoenix energies and shifting the last decade and focusing on rebirthing energy. So let's bring in the energies and in a form so that we build the new decade for us, for humanity, for the collective consciousness, and we bring in information opportunity for all of us to move forward. Yeah. The Magellanic circuits will be really powerful moving forward, because then as more of us get it and start playing with it, we can project reality that can show up more easily. So certainly as we play with the circuits, one of the things is to really practice playing, practice connecting, and as we get good at that connection, we can send out waves from the Magellanic cloud of wishes and ideas that you have. So play with those energies and start sending out wishes. And you can start practicing this a few minutes every day. Continue to do that after the 12-day program. Just keep thinking about some wishes for your life, for the planet, for humanity. Send them out. Send out the waves through the cloud. Okay. Then I talked about Andromeda and renewing your vision and the mission. So bring in Andromeda's light also in your mind and in your body and start sending out waves with the new circuits and the Magellanic Cloud connection. Your connection with some of the stars now will get stronger. Now, when we look at the Pleiadian system, we have some of these star energies that you're already familiar with, most likely. Like, for example, the question mark is here. Maya, Sterope, Tegara, Caliano, I hope I'm saying it right, Electra, Merope, Alcyon. This particular star, Alcyon, is also the power star behind our sun. So, from the ancient times, we've had many stories about Pleiadian energies, and it's a part of our soul journey. It's one of the stops that we made, or for a big part of humanity. We made a stop there. Not everybody went there, but in our consciousness and in our soul journey exploration, that's the Pleiades and Pleiadian Open Cluster is one of the places where we play. So we'll play with the energies, we'll play with bringing in new consciousness matrix for ourselves, for the planet, for your new path and your new reality. Then we'll play with the Tarantula Nebula, which is actually a part of the large Magellanic Cloud. Now, this is less known than the Orion Nebula, but the scientists talk about the power of this nebula. It is a super active star-forming region. They say that if this nebula was as close as the Orion Nebula, then it would be very visible in the night sky. It would be like a bright, shiny object. So that's how powerful this is. So we'll play with this nebula to open up creativity, because this is one of the highest star-forming regions that the scientists have found in their exploration. So with the new Magellanic circuits and with the nebula energy, think about having a focus, allowing the energies to spiral through you, through your world, and focusing on shaping your new world, shaping the new ideas, shaping new possibilities. So it becomes an exploration. Let life become an exploration instead of a 9 to 5 job, or the way we were trained, like, finish your studies, school, college, and do this, do that, make money. And, it has become a day-to-day job. So let's detach from that. Let's take a step back. Let's transition into more of an, more into the exploration side of us. Where we become explorers, deep explorers again. Yeah. So we'll play with some of these energies, and the Flaming Star Nebula is another one we will play with. It's another very powerful one. It's known as a reflective nebula because it keeps reflecting all the energies and information from the system and from the stars. So this is a fun place for you to be, and just throw a particular idea in the nebula, allow all these stars to start reflecting the solution. So think about a solution, an idea, and possibility. Throw it in the nebula. Focus on your enhanced pineal gland. Allow the nebula to reflect all the solution possibilities towards you. Keep running that vortex through you and receive solutions. So, it's a fun way to play with the stars to help them manifest, help them manifest some of your ideas, goals, and visions. And while you're playing with this, you can always run any of the holographic tools or programs, or some of the star tools. Okay, so we'll do a lot of the practices and play with some of these energies. So, as you play with the energies, think about going through the 12 days with the idea of exploring. Have your idea, goal, vision, everything before you start the program. Have that in a container, that as you go through it, through the program, all of those manifestation energies will start aligning, and then open up to possibilities. Open up to these 12 days of exploration, and just explore. Bringing information for you, for your path, for your future, for the planet. And here's the other thing. As we play with these energies, we don't only affect this timeline, we affect our timeline in many different planes of existence. Not, in many different timelines and galaxies, but on many different planes of existence. So things that you needed to integrate, when you can integrate that now, you get a head start. Like taking advanced classes in your high school, so you can get some extra credit in college, and you can skip those classes in college. So I don't know, maybe we can skip some of those, maybe we can skip some of the information, or not necessarily information, but some of the experiences that our soul decided to have on different planes, because you're already integrating the solution. So play with these energies and notice where it takes you. Open yourself, open your mind, open your heart, and really become one with the stars and embody the star essence, so that you can play more and create more. And also, there's another fun bonus for the live program. I'm also including the soul journey healing with Cassiopeia. We will have 1 day live class, and Cassiopeia's healing of that timeline is very powerful right before the spiritual alchemy emergence, because this is one system where we have experienced intense trauma, and a lot of that is still a part of us. So we will focus on shifting that, healing that. We will go into these different star systems in Cassiopeia, and we'll bring in healing energies. One of the stars in that system is over 1 billion years old. So it's a very ancient star. So we will look at healing some of these journeys that we have, some of our journeys where we have gone through in that system. And in Cassiopeia, there were in that timeline there were a lot of issues that happened, a lot of issues that happened with the crystalline matrix that got turned into almost like the way they show up is like black crystals. And there were so many groups that were involved, the groups that we still see on Earth that we have seen during the Second World War, like the Nazi group and certain others. In that system, their soul consciousness, were out of alignment, and they created a lot of issues and a lot of methods and techniques to dominate, to go into other people's systems and manipulate. So there's a lot of manipulation happening in that system. So we will do some healing of that system for the soul journey. So we including that as a bonus class for you right before spiritual alchemy emergence. So choose to play, notice what shows up for you, what will be important for your path and your journey. Go through the soul journey before the beginning of the 12th day of spiritual alchemy emergence. Then it will be very, very powerful for you when you go into a deep healing of your system. Okay. So that's pretty much what I wanted to mention. If you have any questions, you can always email support@lifeharmonized.com, and then we'll get back to you. So notice the energy of the program as you get closer to it, and then if you're joining the program, as I said, come with an open mind, start to play with the energies and notice where it takes you. Okay, so let's play with the creative energies, and let's play with possibilities, and notice how we can shift reality and how we can design and enhance this new world for all of us, individually and collectively, and for humanity and all life on Earth. Okay? So thank you for joining. So now let's make a connection, and let's go through a journey, and let's just play with giving your field a tune-up with a mixture of some of the star energies, so we can start preparing for the 12 days of spiritual alchemy emergence. Gently close your eyes, focus on your heart, and begin to breathe in and out. Let's bring up spiraling earth energies from the center of earth, and allow those energies to come up through your lower chakras and your feet for grounding. Allow the spiraling rays of the sun to come down through your higher chakras and your crown. You are inside a vortex between the earth and the sun. Allow these energies to gradually get stronger for you. Notice the rays of the sun spiraling through you, through your cells, atoms, DNA, through your chakras and meridians, through your past, present, future. Through your soul journey, through your universe. I will now bring in a very gentle sprinkle from the Andromeda galaxy. A sprinkle of Andromeda's light. Notice what happens as it enters your field and your system. Let it gently spiral through your energy field and spiral through you. Notice a deep clearing happening. Notice yourself flushing out a lot of density, stuck patterns, stuck energy, stuck beliefs. Imagine them coming out of your field and your body in the form of dirty water, and it goes into a universal recycling bin to get transformed. Let's run a detox of your chakras and energy centers. Notice the sprinkle of Andromeda's light spiraling through your energy centers, helping you to dissolve anything that's not beneficial anymore. I will run a vortex for success, abundance, prosperity, solutions, and new possibilities. You can imagine it as a golden vortex, like the Restoring Our Abundance program, infused with a lot of star energies. Let's breathe in and out deeply and gently a few more times. Let's come back to your present moment. Rub your hands together and gently open your eyes. Welcome back. You can watch the journey and tune into the energies multiple times before the Emergence program. So if you're joining the Spiritual Alchemy Emergence, then please make sure to join the Soul Journey Healing the day before Spiritual Alchemy. Go through the Soul Journey Healing class, and it will be very, very powerful and very, very deep for you. And if you're not joining the Spiritual Alchemy Emergence right away, you can still join the Soul Journey Healing program. That option is also available. So I hope you play and connect with the stars more. And I hope to see you in the Spiritual Alchemy Emergence program. Let's really look at shifting reality, look at designing reality with some of these cosmic energies, allowing the star energies to become a bigger part of you and really starting to operate from a different level of consciousness and sending out waves of your ideas, goals, visions, not from the three-dimensional part of you, but from the higher consciousness level, aligned with the star energy. So sending out the waves, so it helps you, it helps the planet, it helps others. So let's play with some of these energies and continue to explore. Hopefully I'll see you on the Emergence program. When you go through it, open up your mind for these 12 days and really allow the journeys and integrations to give you a huge boost. And as I mentioned, after we end the program, as you begin the new year or the new project or whatever else is coming up for you, go through that again. Once you go through it, you can just play the journeys, and time to time, use the journeys when you sleep in a repeat loop. So put it on your the mobile device if you using it. Put it at a very low volume and keep it somewhere in the room. Connect with that energy and tune in. So then you can keep absorbing some of these star energies and some of the processes when you sleep at night. And you can also keep playing them in the background when you're at home or doing some project. So play with these energies. A lot of times before I launch things or create my new tools or programs or enhancements, I just walk around and play with some of these star energies and keep running the star vortex in my field, going through my brain, and then I'm in that star energy, inside that star, interacting with the stars. So I run a lot of that processes. So play with some of those energies and notice what shows up for you. Yeah. So thank you for joining. Wishing you a lot of magic. Wishing you a fun journey. Hopefully I will see you during the 12 days of Spiritual Alchemy Emergence, and then we can bring in the a lot of the star magic for ourselves, for our new path, for our new world, and for the planet. So we can focus more on collaboration and shifting some of the underlying things we're noticing all around us and dissolve them, help to dissolve them, and focus on harmony, collaboration, and creativity. Bye.